Um, do you consider yourself spiritual or religious?
I used to be religious. I
Mm-hmm.
used to, because I grew up Catholic. I
Mm-hmm.
still am. My mom
Mm-hmm.
impressed that upon me when I was very little. We would,
Mm-hmm.
always pray the rosary. When I was a, lector at our church parish, so I would read, first reading or responsorial
Mm-hmm.
psalm. I started serving in
Mm-hmm.
our parish church when I was in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
But I, I I I think that I have an on and off relationship with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That I cling and then I let go and then I
Yeah.
cling and then I let go and then I cling and
Mm-hmm.
then I let go. Depends
Mm-hmm.
on what's happening in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a big thing that happened to me just a few months ago, and it's what's making me seek Him more. So I think now I'm more spiritual in the way that I approach my faith, because now, I'm reading more. I'm trying to be more conscientious of, just a simple thing of it's a long commute from South Bay to West LA to my office, but and I would hate it when people overtook me or cut me. But now, I just let them be. It's a small thing, but I know that um, I've heard this somewhere, you do good even when no one's looking or even when no one notices. So that's what I try to do.
Janelle, a lot of young people are struggling with spirituality. Others are bored. Others are dismissive about it. What can you tell them and share to them regarding the role of spirituality in one's development as a young person?
Okay. When I was serving in church in the Philippines, I had to quit, and that's when I first let go of God, because I was invited to pose for FHM. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't pose naked, but I had to show some skin, and I thought I had to do it for my job because my job was on TV. It's a tough world out there, and this is what I'm encountering now also because of the business that I'm in. It's so difficult to keep your faith and still, I guess, get along with the rest of the world,
Mm-hmm.
because you will have to be different. But I
Mm-hmm.
will say the word special. And when you said boring, I experienced that. A friend of mine, we used to hang out before when I was in the Philippines, and then I moved here. We'd hang out every time he'd visit, and I actually went back home just 2 weeks ago for 2 weeks. And then when I got back, he called me, and then he goes, "Can I be honest with you?" I go, "What?" "You've turned into a very boring person." I go, "Really? Why?" "The way you dress, blah, 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 blah." And I didn't notice, but when we were there in the Philippines, you'd go to the club or to the bar, right? That's what they do there. And then we drink, right? And I always get hungry every time I drink. So I ordered food at like 12 midnight or 1 a.m. at the bar. The music was just so loud, blah, blah, blah. When the food came, I actually really prayed. So my friend was like, "I always also pray before meals, but not at a bar. Why would you do that? You've turned into a boring person, blah, blah, blah." So it's what I would say really is, somebody told me this also: read the Bible. And when you read the Bible, because the word of the Lord, people can twist and fabricate and, just invent things, but the truth is always in the Bible, and it never
Amen.
changes. And I was told to read from the New Testament first, so I don't know what you teach them here, but I started reading Matthew, so I'm now, reflecting on the words. I have it downloaded also on my phone, and I just, because you will get bits and pieces of wisdom there, and that's how you conduct your life, because if you base your life on what the Bible tells us, you'll never go wrong.
You mentioned about people, especially religious, some religious teachers that twist and put a spin on the scriptures. Do you believe that in this increasingly relativistic society of ours, do you still believe in some absolute things, like absolute teachings, that this teachings is right, that teaching isn't right?
Yes, I think there are teachings that are right, and there are, just recently. Okay, I had a relationship with a divorced man, but then now that I've been reading the Bible, it says in the Bible, it's not something that the Lord allows. Um, Things like that. There's absolute. There's some things that are right. There's some things that are wrong. But I think the bottom line for me is that we're taught, and it's also in the Bible. We're taught not to. We're not here to judge. We have to have compassion for those people
Right, right.
and try to explain things to
Right,
them.
right.
But then at the same time, we try not to tolerate if we know that what they're doing is wrong.
Janelle, I just want to encourage you to continue reading the Bible and making a strong stand. And if you will continue to do that, I'll not be surprised if one day you'll be a pastor. Pastor, broadcaster. Anyway, do you have any immediate plans for Kababayan LA? Any, projects that are, coming?
Right now, we're very happy with Kababayan LA. I'm still trying to argue with my bosses. I've been arguing with them for the longest time to extend the time because 30 minutes sometimes is too short. There's so many things that we can still talk about. But there are talks of having a Kababayan LA on Saturday, like a review or something like that. But because I'm being employed by LA18, ultimately it's their call. So we'll see where God wants to take us, I guess, or where God wants to take the show.
Okay. And we will always be there to watch you grow and really expand. And I want you to know that this church believes passionately in prayer. And we do pray for you. And we
Thank
do
you.
intercede
Thank
for
you.
you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Every morning at 5 a.m., we have what we call the morning devotion. And yes, here in the church. And Monday nights, Tuesday and Wednesday nights, we have evening devotion. We just believe in the power of prayer to change lives, to transform lives. And again, I'm just glad, in behalf of the church, I'm just glad to have you. And I hope this would not be the last time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, give it up for Ms. Janelle So of Kababayan, LA. Thank you very much, Janelle. God bless you.